And good afternoon. This is Tironan, and I want you to know that I am very happy for all the support that I'm getting from my viewership, and that I am grateful that you watch my videos. This is the F4U-1 Corsair. It was made by the Vought Corporation, and it was a stablemate with the F6F Hellcat, which is not represented in World of Warplanes, which is kind of shocking. This was, in most ways, the F6F on steroids. It was a much faster aircraft, and it was used primarily by the Marine Corps because it was so difficult to land on carriers. The British, however, developed a technique of circling alongside an aircraft carrier and then turning to make the final approach and landing. And they were doing it on shorter aircraft carriers than we had. So anyone that says that the majority of my customers are American, that thinks that we invented everything when it comes to naval aviation, radar, and quite a few other things, our hat should be off to the British for helping us in so many ways. Let's talk a little bit about this aircraft. Um, Survivability, 340 hit points, very strong. Gun armament, 412, and that is with the 420 millimeter cannon. Airspeed, very respectable. And maneuverability, it's okay. It is okay. It's enough to tempt you into getting into dogfights, and it's not good enough for you to win most of them. I am going to repeat that. Be careful how you enter dogfights. That's not this thing's forte. It's almost good enough to be a dogfighter. It is not. Altitude performance is just middling. Let's take a look at some of the Tier 6 fighters that you're going to be uh, messing with. Alright, so here is the P-51A. Again, Tier 6, common opponent for you. Much less survivable. Gun armament's not going to compare. Airspeed is better than yours. Maneuverability is better than yours. Not by much, but it's there. And altitude performance is better by a good margin. Let's take a look at the BF-109F, where the performance is markedly better, over 100 points better. Just to be sure, sometimes I get confused. Yeah, over 100 points better. Um, Gun armament's not as good, survivability is not as good, and altitude performance is going to be better. Here's the Spitfire. Gun armament is going to be start to approach yours. Survivability is nowhere near yours. Airspeed, you've got it all over the Spitfire. Maneuverability, he's got it all over you. If you enter a dogfight with this fighter, it is over. He'll be on your tail. You will not be able to shake him off, and it's all over but the shouting. And he's better at altitude than you are. All right. And the I-210, another high performance, high altitude fighter that you will face here. Survivability again is nowhere near you. Gun armament is not nearly as good. He has 20 millimeters as well as you do, but he's got half of them. Airspeed, you've got airspeed on him by a good margin. Maneuverability, he's better than you are. And altitude performance, he is much better than you are. So that gives you an idea of where you are with the F4U-1. It is a multi-role fighter, and it is equipped. I've equipped this with the Havar rockets, and it's got 8 of them. This gives you quite a bit of punch, and allows you to really do a number on ground targets. So we'll see if we can't give that a try. This is fully upgraded, and 737, sorry, airspeed of 656 is quite good at this level. Uh, Very few are going to come in faster than you do. Um, I think the P-51 comes in a little faster, but not by a whole lot. BF-109 is, so you're going to be right in there in airspeed with most aircraft. Okay. Um, let's go on back and let's get into battle, and hopefully I won't make a fool of myself and have wasted the time trying to record something that's not worth watching. So, I've run some battles with this, obviously, since I've been able to upgrade it fully. And this is going to be the first time that I've used rockets on this, which really tempts me to get in there and mangle ground targets. The problem is there's going to be a lot of low altitude fighters that you have no business playing with. If you run into the Zero or the Hayabusa, you're going to be one unhappy customer, and you get in a turning contest with them. If you see them, light them up, get out of there. Take them down with the first shot, that's great. Otherwise, just use your boost and leave the area, come back around, and rinse and repeat. That's true of any of the heavier fighters. Now, this is going to be, unfortunately for me, all high altitude for the most part. Everybody likes to be at high altitude for this one, and so that's where the majority of our fighting is going to take place, except when we go down to make attacks on the ground target. And that's just the way it's going to be. So we'll see what kind of our matchup we're going to have today. More than a fair share of sixes here. And everything's pretty good at high altitude for the most part. Not everything, of course, but a big chunk of them. Let's see where our you got at least some support. Let's go on and get the air base. Now the air base on this map actually repairs, so you really want this. And if you have a bad habit, as I do, of getting all chewed up and getting dead in the last 4 minutes of the game and being out of aircraft, which I do on such a basis that it's alarming, then you're going to want this air base. Some of our teammates, I think, are making a big mistake in trying to capture the center position, and they don't have enough aircraft to do it with. And that's just unfortunate, because that's not a... I think it's a great way to get chewed up and lose aircraft. Okay, we'll send a couple of rockets in there. We're down to half of our load. We'll come up a little bit, then come down. And we'll lose the last rocket. You do not get a refill on rockets, so if you decide you want to hold on to your ordnance like Grim Death, they will not regenerate. Now we're going to use this boost, which is rather substantial, and we'll take it from there. You have good range on the Corsair, but it does overheat very quickly, which means that you're going to have to be sparing on the trigger, and you're going to need regular boost. So I have a very bad habit, and I don't mean a little, I mean very bad habit, of keeping my finger on the W key and having used all my boost, and then when I need it the worst, I don't have it. With these aircraft, you got a good 15 seconds worth of boost. That's an extremely valuable asset. I don't have any rockets, so I have no business being down there. So what I'm looking for now is aircraft to fight. And by fight, I mean long range, pick them off and run. As far as I'm concerned, this is a murder hole, and both ways with this aircraft. It does not reward dogfighting. So we're going to just boost right on out of the area. I've used 6 seconds of my boost and I'm recovering it now. And there is a good target for me. And sure enough, he went away. And that bullfighter is now thoroughly unhappy that he got anywhere near me. But again, we're dogfighting and we don't want to dogfight. And we're going to boost up to speed, use some of this boost, get the heck out of the area, and turn around. And sure enough, there's some people that just wanted to say hi to us in the worst kind of way. Again, we're going to get rid of the last of our ordnance. We're going to boost again. And see if we can get ourselves out of some trouble here. We're going to dive down into this. And we did not. And right in the plums, I suppose that's British for kicking the daddy bag. So alright, so didn't much like that. I'm going to come over here, going to go right back into battle, and I know there's going to be aircraft around. There we go. A bullfighter at low altitude. I don't know if I shot them or they ran into each other. I suspect they ran into each other. And I know I'm not that maneuverable, so I want to give myself some separation here. And this guy is almost gone. Like I said, it's not got terrible maneuverability. It just does not got the wherewithal to really dogfight with people, and you have to resist the temptation. There you go. And we have a bullfighter. That must be the most ubiquitous aircraft in existence. And we want to close in on him, and we want to do him as much damage as we can do, and try to get out of the range of his fire and light him up. And I have an enemy on my tail, so we're going to, and I'm out of boost. And right in the plums got me again. What a lovely fellow. Alright. We very carefully and by strategic planning managed to make sure that we did not keep our air base. We let a couple of planes take it, and everybody's fighting in the center. Alright. This is not a great altitude fighter, but it does have some good range to it, and you do have good boost to it, and you do have good airspeed. So as such things go, and while I may not have great maneuverability, neither does that 110. And I need to recover boost, and I've got better airspeed than he does, so I'm going to start recovering my boost here. And this BF-109 that could have taken me out got on periscope vision going for him, that 412 damage per second is just not something you want to be involved with. And a Beaufighter again. What a surprise. Never would have expected to see that aircraft type, would you? This is a very tough aircraft. And we are losing 3-2. Not good. I need to go down here and repair. And that is the beauty of having an airbase. Okay, so we didn't get it done, and that's unfortunate because I really worked pretty hard here. Let's go on back to the hangar and see what happened and what we actually accomplished. Alright, we shot down 8 aircraft, which is more than I thought I did. Assisted with 2 more. Captured a sector. Got some mastery points out of that. Summary. Yeah, got some goodies there. And this is the fellow that won it for them more than anything else, along with McGump. So hats off to him. I am not going to ever play the sour loser. I think when the better player plays, you tip your hat to him and go on. Anyway, in a nutshell, you got to see some of the ground attack capabilities of the aircraft, a good comparison of the aircraft against things that you'll be fighting, a good idea of just what a terror this thing is in head-to-head, and its ability against a lot of the things that you run into at high altitude, where it is very capable of taking them out. You do not want to get into a close quarters dogfight with this in most cases. There's going to be some aircraft that are going to be rated as 600s or something that maybe you could dogfight with a little bit if you just absolutely have to. But in general, you have long range firepower. And you can look at that here, where you maximum damage of this is almost 2,300 feet. Don't throw that away. And it's a good, hard-hitting, fast firepower. I mean, it's stuff that the I-210 would die to have. And it is capable of taking down almost anything in the game very quickly. Maybe the A-26 could give it a little bit of a run, but if you keep your distance from it, not much of one. So yeah, this is the aircraft that I would think that you would want. Don't normally do this, but I would say in consumables, this is an aircraft that I would, not consumables so much I should say, but upgrades. This is one that I would definitely go and purchase the reflector sight, improved reflector sight. You add that on there. Sorry. You get 10% to your firing accuracy. You add that to your pilot skill here, where you're getting another 5%. You're talking 15%. By the time you get your third points, you're going to get 10% on that against maneuvering aircraft, which is the majority of what you should be shooting at. And that's going to make a very, very, very effective aircraft. It's another marksman type of aircraft as with the ground attack ability, which is pretty darn nice, and it performs okay at high altitude. It's not what you call your a 210 or the BF-109 or the P-51A, but it does okay at high altitude. It can be up there, and as a ground attack aircraft, it's pretty darn good. Those Havar rockets can really lay a hurt on something. Unfortunately, our team came apart before we could really contest for the center after they managed to lose to everybody out there, and that's unfortunate. But there we go, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope this was instructional for you, that you've got to learn something is what I'm trying to say. That I appreciate you watching it. Like it if you find the video fun, and subscribe. As a new content provider, I need all the subscribers I can get, all the views I can get, all the likes I can get. That helps me keep doing this, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye bye.